Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, the Adam Meakin, Neil, who else? That's 10th Man, isn't it? Father of a Stolen Child and Chocolate Saying. Sorry, threw me slightly there, 10th, with your different screen name. Hello, welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good to have you all.
Is that new name a homage to the golfing skills? I don't even know what the new name is. What is it? What did I write?
See the shot.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, that is a golfing.
Yes.
Yeah, you see the shot.
Be the ball.
No, be flat. Forget the ball.
Excellent.
No, that can also go with my target range here on the property when we take gun lessons. So
flatten the curve.
Quick shout
How much
out.
do you adjust?
Quick shout out to the fat Jesus who is being fed information on MC Toon's debate. We call it a debate. I mean, obviously, home turf advantage and being fed by someone in the background. It seems very unfair and that they should win, given that they've got the mainstream rhetoric on their side, home turf advantage, and somebody feeding the person who's defending the globe. You'd expect them to win. They didn't.
1.25, Nathan. 1.25.
His name is not
And then the flat earther had to help the guy with the math of his own globe.
He's under pressure in that regard. I'm just saying they should have won the overall debate. I'm not going to do what I criticised yesterday by focusing on some faux power of a mathematical nature. Don't get me wrong, I've effed up plenty of times when it comes to mathematics under pressure. Sometimes when I'm under no pressure, you should make a faux pas. So while it might be interesting to focus on him as an individual processing something whilst on a live debate, I'm more interested in the fact that he didn't win any of the points at all. You know, it doesn't matter how slowly you process the maths of 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet when you're at 1 foot observer height. Yes, it's basic maths. It doesn't matter. The point is the argument and its points weren't overcome by the globe side with every bit of advantage they could have had, even being fed from the background on the sly, which is pathetic, by the way, fat Jesus.
Hey, by the way, Nathan, the average golfer would be happy with 4 pars.
4 pars? 4 pars.
Oh, boy.
Anyway. Excellent stuff. It's just this is the second time it's happened. Got the Geo Whisperer that Anthony caught last time. And then we've got this particular instance with Fat Jesus. And when he came over here, I've recently acoustically treated the room, and he came over on the way back from somewhere, Anthony did, and sat and listened. And he's like, I don't know, you know, it could do with a bit more bass. I was slightly offended. You know, I'm like, I've just spent loads of time and effort treating this. What do you mean it's a bit of bass light? So I did a quick measurement, and he was absolutely right. I was like, you bastard. Got a really good ear. But But he has got a very good ear and he catches these things. So he's caught this whispering in the background, gone on to his editing software, amplified it by 400%, and there it is in the background, him being fed the answers. It's like, you're on the bloody globe side. It's supposed to be agreed upon by the majority of the Western world. Yet you need help against a flat earther. Oh, how telling.
Sad. It's actually very sad.
Let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve?
No such zip code exists.
Any sign of a horizon address? Any signs of that?
It's not that it
Yeah.
don't exist, it's that it changes every day.
In the globe model, there is an address for the
That's
horizon.
not a very good.
That's correct. Say that again,
address.
John. That's correct. John's got it correct. There is a postcode, if you will, by analogy, for the geometric horizon in the Earth curve maths. There's absolutely a designated physical location for it. It's got to be a physical designated location. They're claiming that's the proof we're on a sphere. So yeah, they claim it's got a postcode, like a hill, right? A hill would be getting in the way of things that's behind the hill if you're looking at the hill. Well, that's supposed to be what Earth curve does. Physically get in the way of stuff. The problem is here on Flat Earth Debate, we're currently told that nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve, even though I've got hundreds of hours of people drawing tangents to Earth curve and claiming it's blocking the bottom of things like the Isle of Man. It's pathetic. It's been debunked by the Black Swan, so they have to tell us nobody claims Earth curve is the horizon anymore, even though it's the fundamental premise of being on a sphere. It all starts with their horizon being Earth curve, something they have to deny because of the Black Swan.
You may need to run a marathon one Saturday on those shows from the Isle of Man, just so you can remind them.
Was audio guy Sean Huffroad?
I think it was sounding, wasn't it?
Was no audio guy that was like looking into the
Yeah,
geo
yeah,
whisperers being
Sean
fed?
Hufford.
Was it Sean Huffroad?
Well, they like to embrace the fiction in their science, so
I'm taking a step back because Tevlex in chat says a new case for the audio guy. Well, no. Sorry, we're in the middle of housekeeping. I will address this. Not many segues in this regard, and it's on topic. One of the Globe Believers has ripped off the Globe Believers who support them to the tune of about $8,000 or $9,000, or $7,000 or $8,000, something along those sorts of lines. I think he asked for 10, didn't quite get his goal, but he's ripped it off, and then a few people have been pointing it out. And I'm going to give credit to somebody who's one of my criticisers, right? What's the guy's name? Oh, God, I can't remember his actual name. I'm going to call him Unicuck, and that's not his name. I don't know his actual YouTube name. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to
Unitox
shout him out.
Femo.
What's his name?
Unitox Femo.
No, not Unitox Femu. There's a Uni something or other. There's a YouTuber on the Globe side, very critical of me, and he called out Red's Rhetoric, Fight the Flat Earth, Sean Huff Fraud, and I can't remember who else, in an extremely detailed expose that was mirrored by YouTube. Now, I actually watched it on Uni, whatever his name is. Unirock, that's his name, I think. I hope that's right. But it was worthy of a shout out because, I mean, I was slightly taken aback by the fact that he was highly critical of their fundraisers. They're not accounting for anything. And I've done fundraisers. I've shown videos afterwards because I think it's kind of mandatory to show what people have spent their money on when I buy something with it. But I think that's standard. Over on the Globe side, which I pay no attention to, they don't. In fact, they're conning and ripping people off. Literally. And it's being even highlighted by this guy on their own side. And it's just worthy of mention when they say, well, the audio guy will look into it. Well, no, the last time we caught them being fed on the Globe side, because obviously the mainstream rhetoric that's supposed to be true needs all the help it can get, obviously, right? Last time it happened, you had Sean Huffroad coming along and pulling apart the audio. Well, now he is that guy that's just ripped off a load of Globe Believers. Several $1,000s and just disappeared. And they've all just cut ties with him from what I understand. It's like, oh, really? So that's it, is it? You rip off a load of your audience and then, oh, well, we just disassociate from him now. He's going to be cut off. Right. I see. That's how it works, is it? Oh, well, that's the guy that did the audio analysis is the whole point of this little segue. Some complete con artist. And that's
People go to jail for that.
Unirock too, Nathan is.
Unirock, and the channel he did it on was Unirock 2. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth a shout out, even though he's my opponent. You know, kudos to you, mate. And from what he explained as well, there's a lot of bullying in the ranks of the Globe belief. And he pointed that out. I'm not going to highlight what, although it was amusing, and I do in comments. I won't hear. Anyway, that about the amusing globe sides. They're all bullying each other. And the reason I say I shouldn't laugh is because this guy, in spite of that, probably knowing that he's going to get a load of flack for it, has still done it. And you think, well, my hat's off to you. You know, the fact that you've taken time to expose all this information and explain how you've tried to appeal to them and their audiences and failed, and just lay it all out there. You're like, man, you've opened yourself up to a lot of bullying and harassment from your own side, and it sounds like they're absolutely brutal to their own side. It's like we moan about them. It's like, geez, man, if you're on their side, I don't envy Ranty, because they're absolutely brutal to their own side as much as they are to us. It's mad. It's nuts. That's that type of person.
You ever take a child's ball away and see how they act? Well, that's how they're acting. We took their ball away.
But it's a human personality condition. When people say it's baller behaviour, I'm like, well, no. People are people, and there are certain personality traits, and a lot of the people who oppose us on the ball side have those traits. Does that mean that they draw the line with us? No, it doesn't. You know, not at all. You know, people who are bastards are just bastards. Because they're a bastard to a particular group, in this instance, or in this example, flat earthers, doesn't mean that they stop being complete bastards when they're dealing with their own side. Not at all. It makes me chuckle because they're all moaning within their own very shabby ranks about the internal bullying. Yeah, right, okay. Madness, man, madness. I mean, further to that, the guy was discussing how one particular individual got bullied quite severely, and then went on to kiss the ass of the bully and support the bully in the fraud that was committed. And you're just like, man, this stuff goes way deep. I just find it amusing as a quick watch for half an hour, but, you know, to the people who are involved, man, you guys, funny stuff. I'm free of all that on Flat Earth. It's, you know, there's none of that as far as I can tell. You know, the bit we get is from the globe side.
Hold on, they bullied Patricia Steer, the Flat Earthers. I remember that.
That's true. Yeah. That is definitely true. They bully women on the flat earth side for some reason. Internally. I don't get it. I've never understood it.
Is that one of those examples of people just being people?
Possibly. I don't know. In that example, there was a lot of people involved.
It's an example of courage over the internet. Because most of these bullies wouldn't bully people in front of their face. Guaranteed. Cornballs.
Yeah, Rumpus told me he was over 6 feet tall and he could kick my ass.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
But who cares? You know, this kind of bravado pissing competitions about whether or not if you weren't a faceless, nameless troll that can't validate that in any way, shape or form, you'd kick my ass. That's fascinating. Meanwhile, you don't have a geometric sphere edge for a horizon, as claimed at the Isle of Man. You drew a tangent to it, and then simultaneously now claim that you don't need it, it isn't required, but you need to show it us and draw straight lines to it. Yeah, that's the problem. What's that? You could kick my ass, you 6 foot? That's fascinating. Couldn't care less. Your sphere's dead.
We don't need a tangent.
We don't need a tangent. Why did you need a tangent back in the day then? Because we needed a tangent. What, the one you didn't need?
They only need a tangent point.
I think they believe in refraction so much when they go to kick your rear end, they'll be refracted and they'll miss.
We move on. Housekeeping. Oh, what's that noise from Neil? Load of background.
I was just gonna say, 10th man, that was not good. You need to redeem yourself as soon as possible.
Why would I redeem myself? They think everything is refracted on this earth. So why wouldn't my rear end be refracted?
Yeah, they don't though. They need geometry. That's the problem, 10th. Well, Rumpus tried to defend his position yesterday by saying, I told you everything was refracted. It's like, yes, you did. But you also drew a tangent line to the horizon to claim it was Earth curve now, didn't you? He knows it. I know it. He knows he's absolutely screwed. They need to do geometry with tangents. That's the bottom line. And if they haven't got one, they can't do it. That's the end of the argument. That is just so anybody who's not aware, who's decided that the hand wave dismissal of the Black Swan for 18 months was perfectly acceptable. That's the Black Swan argument. You need a tangent. It's part of your geometry. If you haven't got it, you can't do it. That's the end of globe Earth assertions with geometry. Bye-bye, globe Earth. The horizon's not Earth curve.
And you need geometry and the right correct angle to kick a soccer ball, a football, or anything, too.
Yeah. The only way it works is for you to imagine that the horizon's Earth curve by picturing yourself as an ant a couple of millimeters off a beach ball. which does have a geometric sphere edge limitation, which you could call, if you were an ant, the horizon. But you have to physically reify that particular type of horizon, a geometric horizon, into your horizon, and assume that that's the edge of a sphere Earth. Of course, unless it's debunked by the Black Swan, then you'll say no one claims it, in spite of me having hundreds of hours of people claiming it, and maths that have the word horizon, and an X and a tangent to it. It's your claim in the first instance that that's Earth curve. Yeah, it's the end of the road. Some of them don't realise it. It's been 18 months.
What about when they say that they can get a tangent with two curves? Like, I don't understand where.
No, they
where's
can't.
The other curve?
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie to try and trick you with maths that presumably you don't understand, Neil, without being rude. So what they do is they stick two tangents butted up to each other, and then say these two tangents points are meeting at the same place. Okay, well, what's a tangent point? Well, a point that a straight line's met the edge of that circle. So you've got two circles meeting at a tangent point. Yeah? Well, the tangent point's still going to have a straight line drawn to it. That's what a tangent is. So you've got two circles. Just baffling people with bullshit, Neil. And by comparison,
that's what I'm saying, because
just bear with me, Neil. I'm trying to explain it to you. By comparison, if you've got the Earth and the Moon in their heliocentric model, both as spheres, butted up to each other, and then in their maths you draw a straight line that intersects the point where they both touch, then you've got two circles meeting at a tangent point. But you've still got a straight line drawn to that point with both circles meeting it for it to be called a tangent. That's a straight line. Point. They're just trying to confuse you by introducing a second circle. It's nonsense.
Nathan, I got a slide from QE and Master B. Can you comment on it because it's on topic?
Black Swan.
Yeah, but it's got the comparison, so it's about the weather and everything works with the opticals.
The one we covered last night, isn't it? They throw that picture B at QE and say, "Ha, see," not knowing that picture B is just as much a black swan because that horizon, if you're going to make it geometric, still sits at 6.4 miles. I think is it 6.2 miles right at the base of the thing. So it's still a black swan because it's in this time it's only just over 6 times what the just under 6 times what the geometric constraint says where it would be.
Right. So this was a day 2 argument, right, from anybody who thought they had a good handle on what we were arguing with modus tollens. They presented this. Look, I assume that the physical sphere edge horizon is blocking the left-hand oil platform and some of the right-hand oil platform. There you go. I've debunked your black swan. No. The argument structure is about the geometric limitations of your sphere radius 3959 and where those geometric limitations would lay. And this image on the right is also beyond your geometric limitations, therefore also a black swan debunking the sphere. So what have you got? The refracted, what do you say, 4 times the distance of the geometry that you're supposed to have blocking your view, refracted up to block your view? Oxymoron. You don't have refracted horizons. It's a ludicrous statement to make. Well, it's the apparent horizon. Yeah, that's redundant. The apparent location where the sky meets the sea? Nonsense. Well, it's apparent because it's not geometric. It's based on the geometric horizon. Oh, really? Where's that? We don't see it. It only exists in the maths. Nobody's claiming we see the geometric horizon that we require to do the geometry. End of argument.
Yeah, it's weird. Their response is to claim that their measurements are void. I don't know why you would do that.
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Any more on Earth curve? Spent a good 20 minutes on it.
20 minutes on something that you can't find anywhere, and that's not. There's no Earth curve, so let's move on.
It's 20 minutes on something you can't find, and they base everything on it. Distances to luminaries to whatever. That's the crazy part.
But it's okay that you can't find it because you wouldn't expect to find it. So because you don't expect it, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, because we have an atmosphere.
What do you mean? Look at
Stop, Adam. Just went in the sarcasm. I've got to correct it. No, that's trench rhetoric from their side. Well, no, you would expect to see it. It's claimed to be Earth curve, Adam. It's marked with an X labelled horizon with a tangent drawn to it in their geometry and required for their assertion. So while they say they don't expect to see it, that's their trench level response to the fact that we don't see Earth curve. We don't see Earth curve, you say, and you can prove that we don't see Earth curve. We wouldn't expect to see Earth curve, is their rebuttal.
See, you keep saying that, and it eases the cog disc pain, mate. It takes it away. Just chant that. We wouldn't expect to see it. We wouldn't expect to see it.
Yeah, but what they don't realise is I needed 3 or 4, and I got 4 examples of people saying just that. You know, I hung off saying what I've now started to say, which is, yeah, you all claimed Earth curve was a geometric horizon. You all drew tangents to it. Just wait for them to first deny it, so I can point out their embarrassing contradiction. Now, Rumpus is the first. Yeah? The most fundy of obfuscators fell first. Check out his video, I released it yesterday. If you haven't got Earth curve, just lie. Well, that's what he's doing right now. Rumpus has lied through his back teeth because he needs to claim that the horizon was always refracted. It's always refracted. No, you drew geometry to it. Well, I didn't need the geometry. Why'd you do it then? Because I need to do geometry. It all goes wrong in his brain. And you can hear those stuttering, stammering, high-pitched squeals as Rumpus's balls are in a vice over his lies that he's now got to tell as a result of the Black Swan. Now, every one of them that came here that drew tangents, that's what they must do if they're going to make a geometric assertion, have had their claims voided. And when you try and defend them, you end up like a stuttering twat that Rumpus is, being absolutely held over the ropes by me based on a lie he's having to tell and going, oh God, oh God. That's what he was doing. Funny times.
Such a wanker, Nathan.
Yeah, telling me I'm a wanker. When I called him on his lie initially, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I said, you're telling me that you did claim the horizon was refracted when you debated the Isle of Man. Go and get me the show number. I'll be back on Monday. Wednesday came around. Where's the show number? What show did you actually claim that so that you can defend that it's not a lie? And his answer was, you're a wanker. Why? Well, because he's a liar. So his only defence when I've caught him in an outright lie about what Earth curve is or isn't. Yeah, he's lying about Earth curve, ladies and gentlemen. Your high priest of obfuscation in the trenches has been caught in a lie about Earth curve and what it is or isn't. It is a geometric tangent point for you to do geometry. It isn't a tangent point. We've proved that in physical reality. That's a big problem if you're a globe defender. And Rumpus is the first to have fallen in that regard.
If anybody expected him to come in Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday with that, he's in delusional world. We're still waiting for many other things from Rumpus.
Yeah, but that particular thing was a lie. And he knows it. He knows he had to draw geometric tangent point horizons to claim the geometric assertion of Earth curve. And that's what he did. I've got hundreds of hours of it. He still does it to this day on other platforms. I still occasionally have people send me links. Here he is, claiming dip angle measurements to the geometric horizon, right, Rumpy? That's a lie. You haven't got it. Only a couple of days ago, he's here saying, no, we haven't got a straight line. That's irrelevant. Yeah, it's not irrelevant. It's the end of the argument for the sphere.
Yeah, but Nathan, he always says he's never wrong. He's 100% right every time.
99.9999.
Except when he lies. Then he might have to call me a wanker and cry out to Jesus, which is what he did. Right, let's move on. Let's actually move on. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
That's just ridiculous. What is it?
Question number 1.
Well, Tenth probably had to account for it when he was playing golf, right, Tenth?
Good one.
No, because you can fade the ball or draw the ball in your swing. But the course wasn't moving in front of us, so we didn't have to aim to the right so the Earth could catch up. No, we didn't do that.
Anyone else?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if the military in a war had to account for axial rotation?
It would actually be quite easy to program that in a golf game. Just okay, turn on Coriolis deviation. Let's
Not
see
in a
what
video
that's like.
game. He's actually playing golf, Owen. Not Mario Golf, where you just turn on the gravity.
I know in the real golf. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't be difficult in a computer golf game to just put the Coriolis deviation in there. And let's see what that's like.
It would shorten flight times, so wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. Forgot about flight times.
I have heard in the past golfers when they miss putts, oh man, the earth was moving. That's why. Or it goes in. Yeah, gravity took it in. See, it's so much in our culture that they'll use those two terms without thinking about it.
Yeah, I did hear Tiger Woods talking about the earth turning underneath his golf ball. Yeah. I remember that.
Trying to sound like
Not.
trying to show off their heliocentric smarts during a golf game.
Well, I'm just saying that should be a huge factor, and for golfers, that they would have to adjust for this apparent deviation.
Not just golfers. Any sport where the ball leaves the non-inertial reference frame.
Yeah.
Well, if that was the case, John, then at my latitude, where the golf course was that we played, it should have been moving over 750 feet per second. So consider taking your backswing, hitting the ball's in the air for a few seconds. Yeah, we would not have qualified.
Well, I heard a very well-known sports announcer say, with a home run, that gravity will eventually take over and the ball will come down because of gravity.
What's gravity?
Yeah. No, that's my point. It's so ingrained in our culture that people refer with those heliocentric terms, but then when you question them, what geometric horizon? What non-force force? I mean, they don't even know it's outdated.
That's true. They don't even know it. You're right.
Let's cover that. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What is gravity?
What's that?
Bending of pseudo-Riemannian force space caused by the uneven distribution of mass in Einsteinian mathematics.
So if I would have said to that
I heard
announcer,
the word pseudo.
yeah, if I would have said to that announcer that ball came down because of bending of space-time, he would have been lost, correct?
Well, you'd be wrong, because that is not an effect you see in reality. It's a description in mathematics.
Either that, or he would have been enthralled by your scientific genius just by using the words.
Well, isn't the trench rhetoric that it creates an emergent force that draws the center of M1 to the center of M2?
Right, that's right. The not actual force of gravity causes the emergent force of gravity.
Fight the tight shirt.
Chocolate had Fight the Flat Earth Over a Barrel on exactly that. It was priceless.
That was a classic one.
Right, they just want gravity to be a force and a non-force at the same time.
You can think of it as a force, Arwin. It's not a force. Literally, it's not a force.
Yes, but it will cause something, presumably, that they can still call gravity, and which is a force. That's
Perfect
the
segue. Hence, if it's got a cause and effect relationship, we can ask for scientific evidence of it, can't we?
Yes.
Right, any scientific evidence of gravity? Start again.
Yes, gravity. Gravity is the cause of gravity.
Gravity, the not actual force in pseudo-Riemannian bending space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass and called gravity, causes the emergent force of gravity when it's not a force. That makes perfect sense, Arwin, of course.
Yes.
Well, we laugh, but that's what they do.
But, as much as that makes sense, any scientific evidence of gravity?
Arwen forgot something.
Yes, you can vary and manipulate the time dimension within a framework if you calculate it.
Check it out. It's got flux capacity as an argument now. Excellent. How do you vary and manipulate time? Can you show it me first?
Well, you make a diagram and then you
No.
simply put the dot of the line in another
No.
spot.
No.
Yes.
Diagram? No. Show me space-time, physics, not maths. Physicality,
It only
not
exists in the
mathematics.
math. So that's where the only place you can vary and manipulate it.
In the maths? Oh, well, that's no good.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's mathematical. That's where, was it John or Chocolate that said, did I hear pseudo? Yeah, you did, yeah. Only in the maths.
No, but,
Yep.
oh, but hold on. The result is still altered in the real world with the force of gravity. It's just the only way to vary and manipulate it is by bending space-time in the concept.
I see. Just one more time. It's not a force. Literally, it's not a force. I mean, you can think of it as a force. I give you my permission. You can also think of Volvos as chickens. You can.
Cool.
That was the
Well,
best
it's not a force.
I know, but it
it's
still
not even an
causes the
it.
force, and you can very manipulate the concept that causes the force within math in order to establish an independent variable for gravity.
Concepts don't cause forces. That's ludicrous.
So you have a
You can, how? Why not?
But why don't concepts cause forces? I don't know. If I conceptualize a digger, can I dig up my lawn with it?
Maybe. Depends
Okay,
on what
let's
you're
try
gonna
real loud.
conceptualize.
Everyone in the audience with me now. Or hold on to your crystal balls. Put your hood up. Come on, digger, dig my lawn. Didn't work.
Well, hold on.
Hey, it doesn't
Well, they
work
say
that
the-
quickly.
They say the power of the mind can do many things.
Exactly. It's just like the Cavendish experiment. It takes a lot of time to actually do it, and you really need people seriously
Experiment.
focused on doing it.
Not
We're
this
still
time.
Cavendish,
waiting.
what?
We're still waiting.
Owen's on fire, man. Let him go. Let him go.
Cavendish experiment.
Owen makes
To
me
prove
want to sing Star
That
Wars.
mass
things,
attracts mass, even though they're both not really defined.
Right.
Okay, let's pretend that's the thing.
Right.
Okay. Does gas
Hold
have
on.
mass? Does gas have mass, Arwin?
That depends on what you consider mass.
You tell me. You said it.
Well, the mass within physical objects is basically weight, but yeah, that's derivative, right? The mass is like part of the density, and the
No,
weight is the actual tool to physically measure it.
No, you don't qualify gases with weights. You can weigh a gas if you put it in a container, but its qualifying value is pressure, not weight. Weight's a downward vector that you have to induce by putting a gas in a contained area and then popping that contained solid structure onto a scale. So weight is a downward vector in this instance.
That's an interesting point. So I guess that masses in gas would be expressed in pressure.
They are.
So the more mass a gas has, the more pressure it would exert.
Yeah, that is how it is qualified. That's correct.
Cool. Right.
What-
So then
what's
it go
mass?
down, go boom, boom, and
What?
there's gravity.
How'd you go from that to it go down, go boom, boom?
Just use your imagination.
Oh, I see. I'm
Hey,
imagining
Chocolate.
gas go down, go boom, boom. Okay.
Hold on.
I've given more gravity proof in 5 minutes and touched upon all the subjects than any baller ever has.
Okay, I'll just pop the kettle on. Hold on. Steam's not going down, go boom, boom.
Hold on, I got this one, Arwen. Because you're inputting energy into that system, otherwise it would fall down to the bottom.
Fall down. It's as down as it can be. If you've got a puddle, yeah, you don't have to input any energy. You just wait for the day to come.
According to my son, everything goes down. He
Well,
threw a ball in the air
okay.
and it arced down, and he said it's because
Like I'm in.
of
It's like I'm
gravity.
invisible. So a puddle, and we're talking about the phase transfer to steam. It starts off as down as it can be. So when it turns into steam, it can't go down. It's already as down as it can possibly be. I mean, unless it's perched on a leaf or something pedantic, but you know what I mean.
Hey, I want to ask Chocolate something here, but first I want to say something to him. So Fight the Flat Earth had George Muser on his show, his turf. They're pretty much the subject matter expert. And what happened to Fight the Flat Earth, Chocolate?
I don't think it took
Really?
off. No, nobody bought any. It was like slightly sour and didn't have enough cocoa butter.
He must be working. But Chocolate's got all those sayings up his sleeve. I mean, it was so embarrassing for Fight the Flat Earth to take a dare from Anthony and get George Muser on. And then when George Muser comes on, he agrees with us.
I think Chocolate would call it snatching your own wig.
Yes, he would. Just so people are aware, if they're not already in the audience, the things I've been saying are quotes from George Muser. For example, literally, it's not a force. That's a quote from George Muser, Scientific American. 2, Craig, Fight the Flat Earth. Let's move on. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Those scientific fields are only concerned with building natural laws.
So
Well,
no
or
scientific
figuring
evidence.
out how some black hole shows a certain type of pattern or something. Like, how much does a black hole actually absorb in light because of
black hole?
gravity?
Have we ever seen a black hole?
What's a black hole?
It's a thing that we're unsure of that has so much mass that it starts to basically pull light away.
What's mass?
Yeah.
It's measured in weight.
What?
No, we've already covered this. Arwin, you're not on fire anymore, mate. You're just slightly chanting.
It's working.
Have we
fine.
ever seen a black hole?
Hold on, whoever that is. The concise argument I can deal with. I love it, Arwin. You know, I'm going to encourage that. But when it gets to you chanting, we've literally just covered mass attracting mass.
Yeah.
There's certain things that the fundies use as tactics that I'll allow in devil's advocate approach that you're using. Others I won't. One of them's definitely chanting. No. You're not on. That's why I say you're not on fire anymore. You're just chanting.
Oh, I thought that is on fire, but
No,
that's all fine.
no. Putting their argument in a concise way and arguing it until chanting's allowed if someone doesn't address the point. In other words, you can keep chanting it through if they haven't picked up on what you're proving with the point you're chanting. In other words, if they don't address it, because you could say, "Well, I chanted my point at someone 20 times." No. I made my point 20 times and it wasn't addressed 20 times. That's when it's allowed. But in this instance, we've literally just covered that subject matter. 20
I'm
seconds
just
ago.
addressing the ballers that are listening in so they understand what I'm talking about. Of course, I have to still just assert these things. Otherwise, it makes no sense to them, right?
Okay. But we only covered it 20 seconds ago. That's why I'm moaning. I'm elaborating on it because I'm just saying that that particular tactic, that chanting tactic, is one of the things that I prefer that the panel didn't do in the plain devil's advocate.
All right, I'm sorry. I guess I know your weakness now. I'm going to be chanting a lot from now on.
Rinse and repeat, Arwin. Just
Exactly.
rinse and repeat.
That's
No,
exactly
but the
it.
whole thing about it is that it doesn't matter. It's only a minute ago that these arguments were refuted because ballers have tactically very short attention span. So this is just perfect. I did it perfectly. It works.
You did as an example because we're discussing it. So you're right. In this instance, you are on fire because we get a chance to discuss it. But whoever said rinse and repeat is correct. It doesn't expose any weakness because the argument has been addressed. In this case, we just addressed it as part of the housekeeping and then moved on to a different subject. But then you've rinsed and repeated in the next subject, right? But yeah, we've highlighted the rinsing and repeating process, but it doesn't mean there's any weakness in the rebuttal. There's a weakness in the response to the rebuttal because it's just repeating the original claim without addressing the rebuttal.
But that's what they do.
Yeah, indeed, and that's why we're discussing it. Thank you, Arwin. You're on fire again, man.
Just please stop complaining about disproven details, right? Just because it's not real doesn't mean that I can't use it to explain things that are real.
Technically, that's a new argument. Excellent. Yeah, that's the logic they employ, Arwin. I agree.
Just because it's not real doesn't mean it's not real. Come on.
Just because it's not real, we can't see it, and it only exists in maths and concepts, doesn't mean I can't reify it into existence and tell you you're stupid for not doing the same. Yeah, that's true.
Right, it's the only way they have to deal with these subjects that they imagine to be real. So if that's the only way to do it, what else are you going to do, you know?
Correct. And the reason they work on us personally, I was thinking about it because it came up in conversation the other day on the show, was because they need affirmation from consensus. And if we are going against consensus, the reason they want you to be converted back to the globe is because then you're part of the affirmation that they're taking solace in the first place, which is, well, the consensus agrees. Everyone knows we're on a sphere, they would chant. Well, no, not everyone knows it because other people are saying you're not. Therefore, convert that person back. Then everyone says we're on a sphere, so it's right. Consensus rules. Woohoo!
I'm not saying who's in chat or if there is any ballers, but if people were talking about my position this way, I'd come on the show live and set us straight.
Yeah, I was supposed to remind you of something a couple of days ago about knocking doors down. I never did.
Well, you know what? We could very easily compare, whether you want it is another matter, compare the ballers' tactics and their consensus science versus our actual empirical method-based science, very much with democracy versus republic. In a republic, every individual has a right, basically the right to repeat an experiment to figure out whether it's true or not, right? The comparison versus, oh no, it's just what the majority chance is true. It's kind of uncanny how it parallels those fronts, in my opinion.
Just for Neil, the knocking down doors thing was in regards to a conversation I had with Ruhif, where I pointed out a load of errors in his Mong trig, and his response was to say, you can come on Cats and discuss it with me. He didn't actually address any of the points I pointed out, so that was in my response, of course. Also, he didn't deny any claims I made about his lies he told to Anthony about Mong trig being perspective in the Earth curve maths at 7/6R. It isn't, that's a lie. I pointed out his cancerous personality suits his lies perfectly. Anyway, my point in saying, well, knocking down doors is in respect to Steve McRae when we were doing the Isle of Man. So I proactively contacted Steve and said, I want to present my shit. I want it on your show in front of your globe-believing audience. Yeah? That's me contacting Steve proactively to go on his show, The Opponent, and face a revolving door of fundies after agreeing that it would be 4-on-4 or whatever we agreed. That's aside from the point. My point is now that in the reverse scenario, people are knocking on my door going, can you come to me? It's like, okay, that's confidence. Like, yeah, you should be beating down our door to come and humiliate us. But
Exactly.
what's going to happen is the people who are considered the best in terms of their knowledge and acumen when it comes to globe earth defense, that would be Rumpus. He came in and had to double speak within a few seconds of his claims that you don't need geometric horizons and tangents, and he hasn't got them, to declaring why he absolutely must need them to use them when doing geometry. Embarrassing high-pitched squeals from Rumpus. It's like, who else is going to want to come and defend the Blackpool Swan as a great Mong trig claim that debunks flat Earth when it ends up leading to their debunking of their own geometry in the image they cropped, embarrassing, and a relinquishment of the perspective that they never had in the first place, because it's a straw man. So your straw man Mong trig you claim is flat Earth. No. But your hijacking perspective calculator definitely doesn't have it. And that's what we're pointing out to them. And the result of that is them having to lie about claims they've made in the past with geometric horizons. Yeah, no one's going to come and defend that. They've watched what has happened in the last couple of weeks. As much as the Mongs out there, the actual Mongs, are listening and going, you're in full panic mode. This is your 20th video. Like, yeah, number one, I'm a videographer. Number two, if I've got a decent subject, I'll be making as many videos as I can humanly pump out on that subject, because that's what I do. So yeah, you think that's me panicking? No. You just don't understand what's actually happening, and you haven't for 18 months while we explain the Black Swan. This is just the Black Swan coming home to roost. Now, for those who were uninitiated in the argument or hand-waved it, they haven't realised how devastating it is. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter which claim comes up, it gets linked back to the Black Swan. More and more as time goes by, we realise that the lack of Earth curve demolishes a lot of arguments. And that's what the Black Swan does, it debunks Earth curve. There's no two ways about it. So what do you think is going to happen when they come and try and defend this horse crap straw man that we don't claim in terms of perspective they say is actually Mong trig that they're doing and debunking, only really so that they can acquire angular sizes without it being a curved surface beneath them to do it. so then they can make a claim outside of the curve maths. It's like, well, you've got a long-established history with curve maths and drawing tangents we've debunked. Why would you want to segue away and not talk about the geometric horizon? Well, we know why, because they've had it debunked by us 18 months ago. Earth curve's dead. That's why it's quiet from the fundy side. What are they going to do? They come here and watch Rumpus get humiliated by me.
Well, like the guy yesterday, and this is true of all ballers, they assume their outcome from the get-go, the very thing that they're trying to prove. And you catch them every time when they do it.
What, like when he was told he was presupposing, he was like, yeah. Let me explain. He had to be like, no, that's bad. You don't want to make an argument with fallacious reasoning. But why would you want to do that? You don't even realize you're doing it.
Well, all globe proofs begin with the presupposition of R. You know,
of course.
And if you don't have R, you don't have any globe claims.
Yep. And before we officially debunked R, one of the things that John has told me in the past, sorry to speak on your behalf, was that it really got under his skin when I used to say, in R you trust. Because so long as he had that presupposition and the assumption it could be measured, R values were acceptable to beg the question thereof when making an argument for John. So me saying in R you trust, presumably you understood that me pointing out it's a presupposition. You're like, yeah, but we can measure it with geometry, right?
Yes, that was the belief at the time.
Yeah, we no longer say in R you trust because of your presuppositional use of it in every argument. We don't say it because we've debunked it now. Now we say black swan.
Yeah, now I can say what are.
I will plug my own video again. Go and check out Rumpus getting absolutely bent over and lying through his back teeth about the requirement for geometric tangent points, as claimed for hundreds of hours at the Isle of Man discussion. Brilliant stuff. And that's where it's...
Be careful. He's 6'2".
The best part was when you played kind of like with the we don't. Like the best part was when you flipped it and you had him saying, yeah, we don't have a geometric tangent. We don't have a tangent. Oh, but we do have a tangent.
Yeah, that was shortly after the Black Swan's first release. So we don't have a geometric tangent. No, we can't see it. Yes, we do. We do have a geometric tangent. We use it to do geometry. It's in the maths. That was initially after the Black Swan came out, when Rumpus was held to task. Now it's moved on a step, and it's like, okay, we've got an argument that uses Mong trig to assert perspective, to then burn it as a straw man and claim it's proving a globe Earth without the maths. Well, you've got a tower, and the Isle of Man is behind that tower. And formerly, that exact island was claimed to have a geometric horizon getting in the way that you want to shy away from and literally lay down in some rules that we can't even talk about it. This is Earth curve we're talking about here. That we're being told we're not allowed to talk about it. We want to introduce this new way of having our perspective, which we'll call yours, and then using that to acquire angular sizes that don't scale correctly. I had Rufy the other day. Oh yeah, Nathan, he said in one of the comments, how much difference is there between the top and the bottom of the mountain? I'm like, oh right, so another concession then, you accept there is a difference. It's like, you idiots. They've thought, the way I'll get around this difference that can't be accounted for in the way I do my trig, unless I move the rulers up and down and change their sizes. Unless I do that, well, how much is the difference between the top and the bottom of the mountain? Like, yeah, my point is there's a difference. That you've now conceded. They're just idiots. Literally, they're so dumb. Same with cats. Conceded that he cropped and cherry-picked, also known as the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. So you got a guy, he's got a gun, shoots at the barn door, bang, 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 bang. Goes up to the barn door and goes, these three shots are quite close together. I'll hang the target over them. Look how good I am, I'm really good at shooting. Well, that's what cats did. Took the image. Well, my argument suits this little part of the image quite well. I'll just use that bit. I'll hang my target around that. Here you go, my audience. Here's my argument. Yeah, Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Chris Berry's challenging him on Ranty's demands for no discussions about geometric horizons and saying, why can't we talk about the cropped bit? And Katz's response is, he can talk about the cropped bit if he wants to. Oh, right. So full on conceding you've cropped it, Texas sharpshooter fallacy, aka cherry picking. It's like these idiots. They don't know what they're conceding to. Just thick.
You know, if their opponents were doing things like they do, they would never stop laughing at them. It's just such a lack of self-awareness and principles. I don't even know what to say to them.
What, kind of like we're doing, laughing our asses off at them and labelling their stupidity with things like Mongtrig. Yeah, we're having a good laugh at them. But in the comments, they're like, oh, you're panicking. So what kind of delusional dipshit says that?
Dude, they make special videos about that.
Do we sound like we're panicking?
Not at all. No.
It would be
We're
okay to laugh.
panicking. Meanwhile, the geometric horizon that boats and ships were supposed to go over years and years and years ago, that we can't see that anymore. But we're panicking.
According
Right.
to
What?
Chant, we're gatekeeping over this picture.
Well, they're at the point where they
Gatekeeping.
think that getting really loud and annoyed means you're panicking and you're desperate to try and dissuade people from looking into facts. So they do make songs about that.
Sorry, Gem Panda.
These
he's
videos,
Obviously,
well, they played one about Nathan. even,
Obviously, Gem Panda's-
on the Dranty show.
oh, God, will it ever end? So Gem Panda has obviously addressed all the concerns about the multiple observer height from Google Earth, then, if he's moved on to other things. I look forward to hearing his responses and acquiring that actual observer height that he was so concerned about with the Isle of Man again. I wonder, it's just so strange that this cat's claim with 4 observer heights from a map that's got elevation profiles showing Earth as flat, that outrageous use of Google Earth has obviously been addressed by Gem Panda, with them being so even-handed and fair about this whole circumstance. Hello, John, by the way.
How are we gatekeep? Oh, sorry.
I'm just telling you what he said, QE.
Say again.
I'm just telling you what he said.
What?
That
Who
we're,
said?
we're gatekeeping. The amount of gatekeeping over this picture is very telling on the flat side.
What? Who said?
Gem Panda. I'm pointing out that Gem Panda's obviously on the case when it comes to the observer heights. He was very upset during the Isle of Man that we used Google Earth, or Anthony used Google Earth. Just went to it and got the heights. That's an outrage. And Gem was keen to point that out. Now we've got 4 observer heights, 2 of which have come from the very people claiming it, both from Google Earth, as I understand it. And I'm saying, well, Gem's obviously outraged. He was very upset last time. I'm sure he will be this time. But
Gem
apparently we're
Panda-
gatekeeping.
Outraged. Oh my. Time to get scared. He wasn't begging the question. He didn't ask a question. What a dumpster
Oh
fire.
my God.
Oh my goodness. That guy is so stupid. He's got a special wing on the Numpty clips. Just wait till Monday with that
Are you-
photo.
Are you certain?
How's the skank beard affair going?
I gave him a shout out as soon as we opened the live show. Oh, might as well. We're getting close to the end of the live show. Don't tune out and stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. Anyway, what did we call him? Fat Jesus. Being fed. He's got home turf advantage. He's got the entire Western world behind him. And he's up against a flat earther, right? So obviously he's got everything stacked in his favour. And he still required someone in his earphones feeding him the answers.
Yeah, it's the skank beard affair. Somebody just wrote me, left lane, this numpty dipshit. He said the audio came from Witset's mic.
What?
Oh, you mean the same exact defence we got when it was the Geo-Streber affair? Geo-Whisperer, as it got labelled. It was claimed to be coming through Anthony's mic. And then we had a fraud who's literally ripped off the globe-believing audience to the tune of several $1,000s, claiming that it had come through Anthony's mic as well when it was Geo-Streber. Oh, wow. So interesting. I wonder if we'll have a complete fraud sound guy come along to make that claim.
Wasn't Witsit the one asking the question? Why would somebody on his side answer his question? That makes no sense.
Left lane, you doofus. You're a part of the numpty clips too. You guys are some numpty dipshits, man.
They have to lie to themselves on such a massive scale when it comes to things like this. It's like he's being fed the answer to a question Whitsit's asked. Well, Whitsit's getting the answer to his own question fed through that mic. It's obviously him, because flat earthers are really dishonest. No, it's as I described. They've got every advantage possible in this scenario, and he still needs the answers feeding to him.
They're projectors.
And then left lane, whoever that is, like that's your cover up for that. It came from Whitsit's mic, really? Is that your argument, really? Why don't you come on here and tell us about it?
I also point out that, John, my stress on this was, as amusing as it is to besmirch the person that's been so fraudulent as to do this, was to say that given all those advantages and the person feeding him, I would have expected him to win the arguments. And he didn't. Forget about his, being under pressure and not doing basic maths. And I said, I'm guilty of that in certain circumstances too. But the argument, regardless of the basic level of maths it wasn't capable during a live show, that's, to me, not that big a deal. What's a bigger deal is you should have won the arguments, right? Well, he didn't. Whitsit absolutely wiped the floor with him. And big shout out, right? Massive shout out to Austin, because that was an annihilation, mate. You did so well. And you had every the deck was stacked completely against him, but obvious now we're exposing that.
I'd like to say something about cherry picking by Jim Panda. How could it? That's like the most ridiculous thing to say. We're cherry picking when they cropped the photo. Or gatekeeping. They're the ones that cropped the photo.
Oh yes, I had that same thing go through my mind when we're being called gatekeepers. Yes, exactly. Gatekeepers. Well, what about the extra information contained within an image that was cherry picked? Texas sharpshooter fallacy. You think you've got great globe proof, but you need to hang it over a part of the image that suits your narrative. That wouldn't be necessary if you were on the right side of truth.
That don't count.
So yeah, I look forward to finding out the actual observer height for this crap that they're burning as a straw man we've labelled Mongtrig. Be nice to actually get
Nathan,
the observer height.
Look at Master B. Bev, try thinking, just put up a pic. He thinks he may have stumbled onto the location.
You say the location. I thought we'd got the location pretty much pegged already.
We're never sure with this guy and the picture, but because he hasn't really said. But anyway, as time goes by, we will know more.
What's it look like? It's just a picture from... Oh, it's Bev actually posting it with a ranty clip picture at the top. Is that the one?
Yes, but he's got a picture he took from where he thinks the photographer was.
Okay. This is going to need explaining, and we're right near the end of the live show.
No, I mean, it's just the picture that was there that they cropped, and then there's Bev trying to figure out exactly what angle and where the picture was taken, and he's got his picture next to the other one and trying to line it up. So once he gets more detail, I'm sure he'll let us know.
Perfect. Hopefully he'll join and we'll actually get to hear an explanation for this image during the after show. But with that, I am going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, as I say, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, or joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
fucking name.